The crowd roared like a thunderstorm inside the TD Garden as the lights dimmed and the announcer's voice echoed through the arena. Starting at guard, number 13. Delonte West. He ran out with a grin, slapping hands, head high, energy fierce. But behind the smile was a man holding himself together with broken glass. Few knew the real Delonte West. Fewer cared. Born in Washington, D.C., Delonte didn't grow up dreaming of NBA glory. He grew up dreaming of survival. His childhood was a whirlwind of pain, bouncing between broken homes, crushed by depression before he even turned 10. He once said, "I was the quiet kid crying inside while making everyone else laugh." His humor masked something much darker. Basketball wasn't just a game to Delonte. It was escape. Every dribble was a way out. Every three-pointer silenced the chaos inside. He became a star at Eleanor Roosevelt High and later at St. Joseph's University, where he shared the court with Jameer Nelson. Together, they were electric. NBA scouts took notice. Delonte was a left-handed killer with handles like poetry and a mid-range jumper that sang. In 2004, his dreams came true, drafted by the Boston Celtics. At first, life felt golden. The paychecks were unreal. The lights felt blinding. But the higher he climbed, the harder it became to breathe. The pressure was suffocating. Practices, expectations, performance, every missed shot felt like a failure written in ink. And then came the diagnosis: bipolar disorder. It hit him like a freight train. He tried to ignore it. "I'm fine," he told reporters. But inside, he was drowning. His emotions swung like pendulums. One moment euphoric, the next, rage. And no one in the NBA knew how to deal with it. Back then, mental health wasn't just ignored, it was buried. His time with the Celtics was solid but rocky. He clashed with coaches, got into scuffles with teammates, but still showed glimpses of brilliance. Then in 2007, came the trade to Seattle. A short, forgettable stop until he landed with the Cleveland Cavaliers. And there, he met LeBron James. Playing beside the league's rising king, Delonte flourished. For a while, he became a fan favorite. Tough defense, fearless drives, and an unpredictable energy that gave the Cavs edge. But behind closed doors, the cracks deepened. Rumors swirled, controversial stories about his personal life and tension inside the locker room. He never addressed them publicly. But the media ran with it, painting him unstable, erratic. It didn't help that his behavior worsened. Fines piled up. Late appearances. Isolation. He was spiraling, and nobody reached out. Not the league. Not teammates. He was just a man with a contract and a clock ticking. Then came the arrest. In 2009, Delonte West was pulled over riding a three-wheeled motorcycle with 3 loaded guns strapped to his body, including a shotgun in a guitar case. The news hit like a bomb. People laughed. Memes were born. But behind that insane story was a man breaking. "I didn't want to hurt anybody," he later said. "I just didn't feel safe, not even in my own mind." The NBA never recovered its trust in him after that. He bounced to the Mavericks, to the G League, overseas, and back again. His moments of brilliance got shorter. His outbursts louder. And slowly, the doors started closing. One by one. By 2012, Delonte West was out of the league. No farewell. No jersey retirement. No ceremony. Just silence. Then he disappeared. Until years later, a grainy video surfaced on Twitter, a man, barefoot, standing on a Dallas intersection, holding a cardboard sign. Disoriented. Dirty. Mumbling. It was Delonte West. The NBA world gasped. Fans asked, "Is this real?" Some laughed. Some cried. Most just scrolled past. But the ones who remembered, the ones who saw his brilliance, couldn't believe it. This wasn't just another former player. This was a man who once stood shoulder to shoulder with LeBron James, now begging strangers for change. What happened in those missing years? Where was his family? His teammates? His league? The truth was brutal. He'd been living in and out of shelters, struggling with addiction, mental health breakdowns. He tried to work minimum wage jobs, but the world didn't see him as a man. It saw him as a punchline. And Delonte? He didn't fight back. He disappeared deeper into shadows. The internet's noise faded until another video surfaced. He was getting beaten on the street, surrounded by strangers recording with phones. No one helped. Except one. Mark Cuban. The billionaire owner of the Mavericks saw the video. He didn't tweet. He didn't talk. He acted. Cuban found Delonte, picked him up personally, paid for his rehab, gave him a room, a bed, a new start. And for a moment, hope returned. But recovery wasn't a straight road. It was a battlefield. Delonte West tried. He relapsed. Tried again. Failed again. Then tried once more. Every day, he fights. Not for the NBA. Not for fans. But for his life. And yet, the world still wonders. How does a man go from NBA star to sleeping on concrete? The real question might be harder to answer. What did we do while he fell? It had been 3 weeks since Delonte West checked into the rehab facility Mark Cuban had arranged. Far from the noise of the NBA world, the cameras, and the cruelty of public judgment, Delonte stared out of a dusty window, watching a crow peck at crumbs. His hands trembled. Not from withdrawal, but from memory. He remembered the roaring crowds, the echo of sneakers on hardwood, the lights, the sweat, the adrenaline of dropping 20 on the league's best defense. And then, he remembered the silence. The kind that follows when the world no longer cares. Rehab wasn't just about the body. It was about the ghosts. And Delonte had many. In the quiet hours of the night, he'd lie in bed replaying the worst moments. The gun charges. The humiliating arrests. The viral beatings. The questions from his son, "Daddy, why do they laugh at you on YouTube?" He broke then. Not on the court, not in the jail cell, but in that one sentence. Still, every morning, he woke up. One more day sober. One more hour fighting the voice that said, "You're worthless." Then came the letter. It was handwritten. Shaky. Old paper. Dear Delonte, I saw you play once in 2007. You were fire, man. You gave me hope when I was stuck in a bad place. Just wanted to say, don't let them define you by your worst day. He read it 5 times. It wasn't from a fan, or a teammate, or anyone famous. Just a man like him. A soul trying to stay afloat. Delonte folded the paper, put it in his Bible, and made a decision: he would not die invisible. Months passed. He began speaking at group meetings. His words were raw. They call me crazy. They think I'm done. But I'm still here. That means something. He started to run again. First around the facility. Then around the block. His knees ached, but it felt good. Real. One day, Mark Cuban visited again. He handed Delonte a folder, inside, a proposal. Not for a return to the NBA. That ship had long sailed. But for a job. Basketball operations assistant, the paper read. Mavericks. Training camp. Gear, clipboard, whistle. It wasn't glamorous. No cameras. No jersey. But it was purpose. Delonte cried. Not tears of regret. but of redemption. He took the job. Quietly. No press release. No interviews. Just Delonte showing up before the rookies, sweeping the gym floor, helping a young guard with his footwork. The media tried to follow him. He refused interviews. Let the work talk, he said. And slowly, the NBA world that once discarded him began to whisper again, not in mockery, but in respect. But demons don't disappear. Some nights, he still felt the tug. The urge to vanish. The voice that told him he was a ghost in a world that only sees winners. Until one morning, walking to the gym, he saw a kid sitting on the curb. Ragged hoodie. Skin and bones. The boy looked up. You used to be Delonte West. Delonte paused. Still am. The kid whispered, you think I can play one day? Delonte sat beside him. You hungry? The boy nodded. Delonte bought him breakfast. Gave him a pair of shoes from his trunk. And that night, he called Mark. We need to start something. A shelter. For kids like that. For guys like me. And so began the project, West House. A community-funded safe space for youth facing homelessness, depression, addiction. Not just beds, but counseling. Therapy. Basketball courts. A place to fall without breaking. It started small, just 10 beds. Then grew. Former players donated. Fans pitched in. Even LeBron sent a silent donation. No words. Just respect. Delonte didn't want praise. He wanted peace. Years passed. His beard grew gray. His eyes, calmer. He still fought the darkness, but now he had weapons, purpose, love, legacy. One evening, watching the sunset from the roof of West House, Delonte leaned back and whispered to himself. I'm not the man I was. But I'm proud of the man I became. And for once, the world listened. From NBA star to homeless. From broken to builder. From lost to found. This wasn't the story of a fall. It was the story of a rise no one saw coming.